All right, so I was locked up for a year, and while I was locked up, my girlfriend was in a relationship with an attorney for a little while. She was in a relationship with an MMA person. She went to work for a bail bonds person. She worked directly for the mayor of the city, or I don't know if it was the mayor. Anyway, she worked as his secretary. Everything she did was subconsciously being guided by the fact that she didn't want me in jail. At some point during all this, she wound up addicted to drugs. And she was living with me for a little while. And she went and injured herself deliberately so that she could go to the hospital and get drugs. So I went up to the hospital. I took her up to the hospital, and there was a police officer who was working at the front desk. He was trying to suggest that I had hurt her. He said there's been a lot of stuff going on in that area, so that's why he was there. And so he kept, she was a former Hawaiian Tropic calendar model, Hooters calendar model. I think that he wanted to try to get me in trouble so he could somehow think he had an opportunity to, whatever, hook up with her or something. And I told him, I said, look, check her blood. You're going to find all kinds of drugs in there, okay? Like a lot, okay? So just check her blood and you'll see what's going on. Well, he kept coming back to me over and over again. And I just kept telling him the same thing. I said, check her fucking blood. You're going to find so many fucking drugs in there, it's not even funny. This is what she's doing. Well, he wouldn't stop. So I picked up on the fact that he didn't really give a shit to know if I was innocent or not. He just wanted to fuck me. So I had this knife, a Kershaw Blur, which basically you just flip it with your thumb and it comes out really fast. It's got the blade is incredibly sharp. And I just put it on the front of my jeans to let him know, look, dude, I'm thinking about killing you right now. You understand that? Like, I'm going to kill you if you keep fucking up. I was not going to put up with it very much. I had been through quite a bit. And by that point, and I just wasn't going to deal with it. When he came out, he looked at that knife with kind of a little smile on his face. Like, he was just kind of like, that he knew what was going on and he never messed with me again. And then there was another situation where when I was 19, I was in incredibly good shape. I was working out every single day. And I was at the point where I didn't even get sore anymore because I was young and I was just working out all the time. When I was 17, I used to do the entire stack on flies. And then when I was 19, I used to do lat pull downs. And I would pull my knees out from underneath, where it holds down your knees. And I would ride it to the top like an elevator. That's how much weight I was doing. I was doing so much more weight than what I weighed that, I would ride it up like that. Anyways, so this cop pulled me over on the side of the road. I had a little BMW. I was playing rap music real loud. And I just decided that I would get out of that car with my chest out and just walk up on him. Just like, what the fuck are you going to do? Because, basically came out swole on him like this. Like, yo, what's up? What you going to do, huh? You know what I'm saying? I ain't really playing with you right now. You know what I'm saying? And the cop was like, oh, it's all right. Everything's all right. I was just, yeah. The cop was actually pretty big himself. And he was like, yeah, it's all right, man. Just go on. Everything's all right. And he just let me go. Then there was another story where I got caught in Ada, Oklahoma. And I got caught in Ada, Oklahoma for 6 grams of marijuana. I had 3 felony charges out of that. And one of the felony charges was for being within 1,000 yards of public housing. My dad was close personal friends with the district judge at that time. And I didn't spend any more than 30 minutes in jail, and they transferred me to a psychiatric facility. But once I got to the psychiatric facility, they came to me and they wanted me to accept 6 months rehab or 3 years in jail. And I was pissed. I was so pissed that they were treating this little possession charge so severely that I just told them, I said, look, what did I say? I said, no, I was angry. My dad hired somebody who knew the judge. He didn't hire me an attorney, but he hired somebody who knew the judge personally to be essentially my attorney. And when he told me that, I was so pissed. I told him, I said, tell him to set it for, I don't remember exactly how I told him, but something like this. I said, tell him to set it for trial. You know what I mean? I said, tell him to set that fucking thing for trial. Okay? Because they're not going to get 12 people to unanimously say that I should be in prison for marijuana. They're not going to get all 12 people to go along with it. So go ahead and set that shit for trial immediately. And he said, oh, I think I can get you a better deal. I think I can get you a better deal. And then he went to the guy. See, we had some leverage with them because we handled all their drug court people, or a lot of their drug court people. We would allow them to come to work for us. And anyways, so they came back and said, well, we want you to go work for the judge as his bailiff for 3 months. And then I ended up going to work for him, and he had me do a lot of summaries of his paperwork and stuff. He let me decide one case by myself, which I kind of feel like I made the wrong decision, but it was a situation where either side wasn't really wrong, and it could have just gone either ways. But anyways, it taught me something. But the thing of it is once it got to the point of signing paperwork for, accepting probation, then they wanted me to sign paperwork that would have me show up and do urinalysis every month. And I told him, well, I need to go talk to I need to speak to an attorney first before I do this. And he told me that he said, if you don't sign this right now, I can have you arrested right now. And if you don't sign this, we'll just go ahead and set it for trial. See, he was pissed because I think he didn't appreciate the fact that I was telling them, hey, look, you can just set this for trial. Incidentally, there was another person who was in the same situation. And I don't know if they caught wind of my success, with that strategy, the attorney did. But he went the same route and said, yeah, go ahead and set it for trial. And they got all the way to the point of bringing in an entire, 50, 60, 70 people to be on the jury. And then they just called it off and they let the guy go. So I think that I kind of started something there. And incidentally, Oklahoma was one of the most severely harsh drug war states, especially for marijuana. Now it's one of the most lenient states for marijuana. And it started when I was in jail in Colorado. Almost immediately after I wound up, during everything that was going on in Colorado with the psych warfare and everything like that, it almost feels like they said, well, if you're just going to do that, then, we'll just do this. You know what I mean? It could have had something to do with the fact that I started something in Oklahoma where they couldn't get convictions anymore because people kept doing, what I started them doing, which is just set it for trial all the way, go ahead. Because people don't even like that, And then they wanted to say, well, we changed the law because of that, when in reality it's because I changed everything.